I get to join you now. So thank you so much for being here. My name is Scott. This is Mosaic Yoga, and I'm thrilled to be able to do a level flow vinyasa class today. And what we're going to do is we're going to go through the major genres of yoga poses, right? We're going to do a gentle warm-up. We're going to get into some standing poses, including some sun salutations. We're going to get into some other standing poses like warriors and things like that, right? Then we're going to get into some balance poses, both standing balances, arm balances, etc. And followed by some hip openers, some twists, some back bends, some inversions with a nice long slow down, kind of cool down, a copious shavasana, which I think is probably the best part of yoga practice. And then, of course, we'll come up and I want to finish off with a little bit of breathing practice. So that's sort of the full scope of what I want to do today. And my hope is that this practice is going to feel sort of well-rounded and balanced. And ultimately, what I want is for this practice to help you feel your best so that you can go out and do whatever it is that you do. And so that's what my hope for our practice is today. As we begin this yoga practice, find yourself in a comfortable seated position. Maybe set thumb and first finger together with your palms open. Close your eyes and take a couple rounds of full deep breath in and out through the nostrils. Take a moment and just acknowledge exactly where you're at today in body, mind, and spirit. Turn your palms down on your knees, lean over to one side, and start to move your trunk around slowly in circles. Now, this is still the pre-Om kind of discovery part of our practice. And by moving around like this, you're kind of tuning into exactly how you're doing in this moment as you begin your practice. So we're not going for anything outrageous. We're not doing anything magical. We're just moving the body a little bit. Move around through your neck and head. Feel into what's going on over there. Maybe fingertips to shoulders and make a couple of circles around this way. One direction and the other direction. Stay in line with your ujjayi breathing, your slow whisper breath. Gentle little twist to one side. Switch directions for a few breaths. And then as we bring it back to middle, put your hands together to your heart in this Anjali Mudra. Close your eyes for a moment. Think about your intention for practice. And from this space, we'll chant Om. You can listen or join in. This will be the sort of official start to our practice. Inhale. Get back into your ujjayi breathing, and let's warm up a little bit more by lowering down onto our back, knees bent, and we're going to do some dynamic bridge poses. So reach your hands down by your heels, walk your shoulder blades slightly together, and then with an exhale, slowly roll your lower back into the floor before lifting sacrum, then lower back, middle back, upper back off the floor, and then as you inhale, roll back down, vertebra by vertebra back to the ground. You're going to exhale again, slowly lift sacrum, then lower back, and then middle back, and you're going to articulate each vertebra up and each vertebra back down. We're not moving mountains here. We're not doing anything that's going to get us on the cover of Yoga Journal magazine. We're just going to lift and lower and feel into what's inviting us to open up a little bit. Next time you lift up into a bridge pose, pause there, walk shoulder blades together, bend your elbows, make fists, kind of pull elbows down into the floor. Lift your chin slightly up toward the ceiling. And give yourself 3 or 4 of these long ujjayi breaths. Lower back down slowly. Send your legs up in the air. Flex your toes back toward your shins. Bring your hands back behind your head. And then with an exhale, do this kind of yoga crunch. You're going to point the elbows toward the ceiling. Lift your back of your head and your shoulder blades off the floor. And as you inhale, just lower back down. Exhale, you can do a little lift. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift. Just get a little core engagement to kind of start the motor a little bit for our practice. Now we're just doing regular crunches, right? Every pose could be made into a yoga pose as long as we connect body, mind, and spirit, right? We've got these slow ujjayi breaths that are moving in and out. We're being very mindful, right? Aligning this with our breath. Let's do one more of these. Keep the legs straight. As you lower back down, lift back into bridge pose. Elbows bent, walk shoulder blades together. If it feels good, interlace your fingers and reach your knuckles toward your heels. Now in bridge pose, it's easy to want to kind of point your knees out or roll to the outside edge of your pinky toe side of your foot. Instead, see if you can keep the inside edge ball of your foot pressing into the floor equally as much as the outside edge of the foot. Then when you've had a good run with that, maybe 3 or 4 breaths, release and lower back down nice and slowly. Bring your knees together. Scoop your hips up and over to the right because you're going to drop your knees to the left and reach off to the right in a gentle lying down twist. Switch and go the other direction. Now I like to bring the center of my hip right into the center of my yoga mat. Gives me a nice straight up and down axis around which I get a twist here. And I don't know about your back, but my back absolutely loves doing this. Of course I want to be careful because we haven't done a ton to warm up yet, so I'm taking my time, very, very gentle, but nonetheless, what a great way to start the practice. Okay, roll over the rest of the way to your right side. Come up to hands and knees pose. And let's just move with some cat-cow position. Inhale, lean your chest forward. Lift your tailbone a little bit. Exhale, round your spine. Draw your tailbone under a little bit. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Okay, now the next time you exhale, round your spine, lower all the way to child's pose. Come back to hands and knees on an inhale. Child's pose again on your exhale. Hands and knees, inhale. Okay, so the next time you lift into a downward facing dog pose, let's hang out in down dog for a couple breaths. First down dog of the day, keep your knees maybe a little bit bent as you start to pedal your heels one side, then the other side, straighten one leg, straighten the other leg. Now look forward to your hands, bend your knees a little bit, step, walk, or hop feet to hands. And as you breathe in, bend both knees quite a bit. Hips drop about as low as your knees. And when you exhale, straighten up your legs and fold forward. Again, bend your knees, look forward, exhale, straighten up, and fold forward. I love this. This is such a great kind of full spectrum, simple but practical way to just warm up the major muscles of the body. Get the breath going, get the spine moving. And the next time you inhale, open your arms wide, stand all the way up, reach toward the sky, a little arch in your back slightly. And as you exhale, bring your hands back to your heart. Let's just run through a couple of sun salutations, get the body moving, okay? I'm going to be facing you so you can see what I'm doing, okay? And I've got a mat set up this way, I've got a mat set up this way. So I might be switching back and forth, okay? So here we go. I'm going to step forward a little bit. Inhale, reach your arms to the sky, full breath in. As you exhale, dive forward. Flat spine, inhale. As you exhale, step into plank pose. Give yourself one breath and then lower down slowly to chaturanga. Cobra or an up dog position, inhale. And then let's lift back into downward facing dog pose. After maybe 4 or 5 breaths in downward facing dog, look up to your hands, bend your knees, step, walk, or hop, feet to hands. Come to a flat spine as you inhale. Fold forward again on your exhale. And then stand back up. Inhale, reach to the sky. And exhale, hands together, back to heart. Okay, I'm going to face this way this time. Inhale, reach your arms to the sky. Exhale, fold forward. Flat spine, inhale. And then step or float 1 breath to chaturanga. Move into cobra or upward facing dog position. Inhale, and then back to downward facing dog on your exhale. Looking forward to your hands, take a deep breath in, walk, step, or hop, feet to hands, then breathe in, flatten your spine. Fold forward on your exhale, and stand back up, inhale. Hands back to heart, exhale. Let's do one more sun salutation. A, inhale. Exhale, fold it forward. Flat spine, inhale. Step back and float all the way to chaturanga. Move into a cobra or an up dog position. Inhale. And downward facing dog pose. Look forward to your hands as you bend both knees. Step, hop, or walk. Feet to hands. Then inhale to a flat spine. Fold forward, exhale. Stand up, inhale. And exhale, hands together, back to heart. Okay, let's go twice through sun salutation B. Here we go. We're going to bend the knees, move into chair pose, Utkatasana. First time around, we're going to hold each pose for about 5 breaths. Second time around, we'll flow through the poses. If you want to, you can even bring your heels off the floor for a little bit more kind of calf-intensive version of the pose. One more breath in. Perhaps drop your hips a little bit lower as you exhale, straighten up and fold forward. 5 breaths in Uttanasana. Find a flat spine, inhale, and then step back to plank pose. Give yourself 1 inhale, and let's do a 5 count on our exhale. Exhale, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Upward facing dog, and let's hold up dog or cobra pose for 5 breaths. We'll come back to downward facing dog on your exhale. Looking forward to hands, bend your knees, and step, hop, or walk, feet to hands. Inhale to a flat spine again. Fold forward on your exhale. Stand all the way up, reaching toward the ceiling, and exhale, hands back to heart. Okay, so now 1 breath per movement. Chair pose again, Utkatasana. Exhale, dive forward. Flat spine, breathe in. Step or float to chaturanga. Cobra or an up dog, inhale. Down dog, exhale. Now I'm realizing I forgot some poses. Right leg lifts on the inhale. Step it forward on your exhale. Let's move up into warrior 1. Totally forgot that on the way in. Whatever, we're all good. Making it up as we go. Back to plank, chaturanga. Cobra or an up dog, inhale. And down dog, exhale. Left leg lifts, inhale. Take it forward, exhale. Warrior 1, inhale. And hands to the floor, exhale. Breathe in. And lower chaturanga. Cobra or an up dog, breathe in. And let's hang out for 5 or 6 breaths here in downward facing dog. Bend your knees a little, look forward to hands. Step, hop, or walk, feet to hands. Then inhale to a flat spine. Fold forward on your exhale and stand all the way up. Inhale, or better said, go to chair pose. And then straighten up your legs with your hands back to heart. Okay, so first standing sequence, move into warrior one pose. Right knee's bent, left heel's flat. Reach your arms to the sky. Bend your front knee. Make sure your right ankle is over your front knee is right over your right ankle. With an exhale, put your hands to your heart and twist your left elbow to the outside of your right thigh. Twisting crescent lunge. Bring it all back to middle, hands to the floor. As you step your back foot forward a little bit, straighten up your front leg into pyramid pose, Parsvottanasana. Bend your front knee a little bit, step back into plank position, and move through a vinyasa. On your way back into a downward facing dog pose. Raise your left leg in the air on an inhale. Step your left foot forward between hands on the exhale. Turn your right heel flat as you come up into warrior one on the left side. Place your hands to your heart as you twist right elbow to the outside of your left thigh. Twisting crescent lunge position. And then pyramid pose or Parsvottanasana. Straighten up your both legs. Step your back leg in just a little bit as you fold forward over your front leg. Take it back, plank pose on your way to Chaturanga. Move through a vinyasa. Find your way back into a downward facing dog for 4 or 5 breaths. Bending your knees a little bit, look forward to your hands. Hop, step, or walk, feet to hands. To a flat spine, inhale. Fold forward on your exhale. Stand all the way up, reaching toward the ceiling, Urdhva Hastasana, with exhale, hands back to heart. So here's our second sort of sagittal plane standing sequence. Reach your arms to the sky, interlace both fingers, index fingers pointing up toward the ceiling, and then raise your right leg as you lean forward into a T into warrior three pose. Drop your left hand to the floor. Keep your right arm reaching up toward the sky into half moon pose. Now you're going to drop your right hand to the floor, reach your left arm to the sky, twisted half moon pose. Both hands come to the floor. either step back into plank position or handstand transition your way through a vinyasa. Now you're going to raise your right leg in the air, inhale. Step your right foot forward between your hands on the exhale. Send your arms to the sky like you're in Warrior One. As you interlace your fingers, straighten up your front leg and lean forward into your T with your left leg in the air. Warrior Three. Right hand to the floor, raise your left arm to the sky, half moon pose. Switch your hands, left hand to the floor, right hand to the sky for twisted half moon. Now both hands come to the floor. Find your way through transition on your way to down dog. Four or five breaths in downward facing dog pose. Raise your right leg in the air on an inhale and step your right foot forward between your hands. Move open to Warrior Two position. So now we're going to do two sequences in this plane. This is the coronal plane. Start off with a Warrior Two. Reverse warrior, place your left hand to your hip, chin your right palm, open to the sky, reach up, start to lean back a little bit. Now place your right fingertips to the floor on the outside of your right foot. Send your left arm across your temple, Utthita Parsvakonasana, or extended arm side angle pose. Both hands come to the floor as you take it back through a vinyasa. And I don't know about you, but like right about now, my back is starting to love everything we're doing in this practice, especially when I get into those upward facing dog poses. My body's like, never stop. So raise your left leg in the air, inhale. Step lefty forward between the hands. And let's open a Warrior Two. I'm going to turn around just so I can be facing you. We're in Warrior Two on the left side now. In each one of these poses, generally we're going to hold for about 5 long breaths. Right hand to hip, turn your left hand to the sky. Raise your left arm up to reverse Warrior Two. On your way to side angle pose, so left fingertips to the floor. And I'll even slide my right foot back a little bit further now. Both hands come to the floor as you take it back either straight to down dog or move through a vinyasa. I want another excuse to hang out in up dog. Yeah. And downward facing dog. Raise your right leg in the air again. Inhale. Step it forward between your hands on the exhale. Let's go back into Warrior Two pose again. Right side. Okay. Again, I'm shifting just so I can be facing you. This time in Warrior Two, bring your hands behind you, interlace your fingers, straighten your arms as you draw your shoulder blades together. Draw your tailbone slightly down, lift your pubic bone up just a little bit. Straighten up your right leg, reach your right arm forward into triangle pose, right hand to the floor or your shin, send your left arm to the sky. Both hands come to the floor. As you step it back, plank on your way through a vinyasa. There's up dog again. Love it. Left leg lifts in the air. Inhale before taking it between the hands. Exhale. Back into Warrior Two pose. Again, I'm turning around so I can see you. Or maybe you can see me. Again, bring your hands behind you, interlace the fingers as your shoulder blades pull together. Begin to straighten your arms a little bit, bend your front knee even deeper. Release, send your left arm straight as your left hand comes to your shin, left fingertips to the floor. Send your right arm up toward the sky. When you've had 5 or 6 breaths there, put your hands back to the floor, take it back into plank. One more time through vinyasa. And let's have a dedicated resting pose. So if cat-cow is your best resting pose, keep it dynamic and mobile. Otherwise, maybe go right into a child's pose. So 5 or 6 long breaths in child's pose, then make your way back up to hands and knees. Revisit down dog just for a hot second. Looking forward to your hands, bend your knees a bit. Step, hop, or walk, feet to hands. Flat spine, breathe in. Fold forward on your exhale. And stand up again, reaching toward the sky. Inhale with your hands back to heart. Okay. Now we're going to switch genres just a bit, and then we're going to move into our balance pose. Let's start off in this pose, Tadasana, just mountain pose. Feet together, palms facing forward, kind of broad and open through your chest, but your arms are relaxed. And then from here, I want to move into Garudasana. So we're going to open our arms wide, bend the knees a bit. Pick up your right thigh, put it open over your left. Bring your right arm underneath your left arm, and if you can, hook your toe around your calf as you lift your elbows up off your chest and press your forearms away from your nose. Unwind and place it back to the floor. Other side, arms wide, bend your knees. Your hips are pretty much right over your ankles, okay? Standing on this bent knee, cross left thigh and open over the right thigh. Bring your left arm on bottom. Wrap your eagle's wings. And unwind, hands to heart. Very good. Next balance pose, tree pose, standing on your left leg. Bring your right foot up under the inside thigh of left as you reach your arms toward the ceiling. Good. Other side. Put your left foot up to right thigh. And then finally, hands back to heart as we bring it back down. Now let's move into an arm balance or two. Start off in Bakasana. So come into a squat pose with your elbows here on the insides of your knees. Put your palms forward in front of you. As you squeeze your knees into your arms, lean forward, come up onto tiptoes. Bend your elbows a little bit more and just pitch your weight forward beyond your wrists. Touch big toes together. Keep your Ujjayi breath moving. Come back down and rest either in Uttanasana, standing forward fold pose, or come down and rest in Mulasana, squat pose. Now we're going to try this a few more times, and if you're practicing Bakasana, crow pose, you want to do that again, go for it. Otherwise, maybe we try side crow this time as we bring our feet together, knees come to touch, do a little twist on your toe balance, and then bring your hands over to your left, bend your elbows, and use your side abdominals to pick your feet up. And then from here, forward fold or Mulasana. Back to our standing toe balance. So we've got options, right? You can do side crow on the other side, or do crow pose one more time. And rest in your choice of either Mulasana or Uttanasana, standing forward fold. Stand all the way up. Reach to the sky. With an exhale, drop your arms to the side. Let your arms kind of sway back and forth. Fantastic stress relieving posture. Inhale. All right, reach to the sky, big inhale. Exhale, take it forward. Find a flat spine again, breathe in. And as you exhale, step back straight into downward facing dog pose, or move through a vinyasa. Come to a seated position, so maybe first hands and knees as you cross your ankles behind you. And let's move our way into Navasana, or boat pose. Okay, so you're going to hold the backs of your legs, roll your shoulder blades back, and lift your feet up, reaching your arms straight forward. Bring it back down as you roll your shoulders back. Counter pose by either sitting version of, what is the name of this pose? Doesn't matter. Open up your chest, point your toes. Canal pose, or it'll come to me. Okay, and then let's hit boat pose again, Navasana. Purvatanasana. That's it. Speaking of it, we're going to hit Purvatanasana again, either seated version of the pose or lift it all the way up. Good. Navasana, take 3. So this time, hands together, lift your feet up, inhale. As you exhale, move your hands to the right, drop your feet to the left. Inhale back to middle. Exhale, hands to the left, feet to the right. Inhale, middle and right. Middle, left. Keep going with your breath. Good. Bring it back and neutralize one more time into eastward facing stretch, canal pose, or Purvottanasana. So I want to move into some hip openers now, which will feel really good for the other things I want to do and get ready for. Easiest version of this next pose, we're going to move toward Agni Stambhasana or fire log pose. And a nice variation is just to do a figure 4 with your legs in a seated position. Cross your ankle over your thigh, push into the floor and kind of arch your back. I get this great stretch here in the muscles on the outside of the hip. Mindful of keeping my right toes flexed. Otherwise, kind of facing you so you can kind of see what I'm doing here. I'm going to keep my left shin basically parallel to the front of my yoga mat. Right ankle goes on top of left knee. Right knee on top of left ankle, stacking the shins. Sitting up nice and straight into Agni Stambhasana or fire log pose. Now this feels great. I can stay right here. Also, if I've got something, I could slide it in between this knee. If, for example, my hips are a little bit tight and my knee's hanging out up there, right? It also might feel good to begin to walk my hands forward and enjoy a little bit deeper version of the stretch. And bring it back out. And as you come out of this pose, just kind of pedal your knees a little bit. And then either you're going to switch sides with this seated version of figure 4, or move deeper into fire log pose, Agni Stambhasana. Left ankle over right knee, left knee over right ankle. Remember, my shins are stacked instead of crossed. Okay? And I want to be super careful about this knee. If I feel any pull on this LCL ligament, the outside ligament of the knee, first of all, I want to make sure my toes are nice and flexed. And it's not the end of the world if I just open up my stance a little bit and bring my knees a little wider. And that'll help take a little bit of tension there. Okay? If the opposite is true, I want to go deeper into this pose. I didn't mention this on the other side, but you could cross your knees and move into Gomukhasana or cow face pose. Okay? I'm going to stick with Agni Stambhasana. Keep things balanced one side to the other. Good. Now when both sides feel more or less equal, come to a lying down on your back position, and I want to revisit bridge pose. So lie on your back and start by just placing the soles of your feet flat to the floor with your toes pointing straight forward. Reach down. If you've got long arms, you might be able to touch your heels with your middle finger. Walk your shoulder blades together, and then again, hug your lower back down into the mat. Similar to exactly what we did at the very beginning of our yoga practice. Lift your hips up off the floor. Walk your shoulder blades together and interlace your fingers. If that doesn't work, maybe your shoulders don't work that way, or your wrists or fingers don't work that way, it's fine. Bend your elbows at right angles. Hips are nice and high as I press the balls of my feet straight down into the floor to lift my hips up. Releasing my hands, I'm going to lower back down nice and slowly. Give myself a breath or two as my spine neutralizes, and then I'm going to move into a happy baby pose. So here goes bridge pose take 2. And this time we might choose a variation like Urdhva Dhanurasana, full back bend if your body feels open for that. Okay, shoulder blades together, hug lower back down into the floor. In version 1, I'm just going to lift my hips up. I might even keep the elbows bent version of bridge. I might keep kind of my regular Setu Bandha Sarvangasana, regular bridge pose. Or if I feel like my back might appreciate a full wheel pose, I'm going to start by bringing my hands up to my shoulders, kind of point my fingers slightly out. So almost like my wrists are pointing more toward my temples. Now, I know that because my shoulders are they're more broad and they're a little bit tight, if I bring my hands a little bit wider, that gives me a little bit of advantage for the way my body wants to do a back bend. So I'm going to push up onto the top of my head, set my feet down, open up my upper back, and then lift into my back bend. After 4 or 5 breaths, I'll make my way back down, neutralize back on the floor with my spine flat for a few breaths. And then let's revisit our happy baby pose. All right, I'm going to hold the backs of my legs, roll halfway to a seated pose, most way to seated pose, come back onto my back, and I'm going to do this back and forth. Okay, and then when I do come up to a seated pose again, I'm going to just comfortable seated pose, put my hands on my knees, and kind of roll around a little bit. A couple times in one direction, switching, go the opposite direction. Very consciously adding a little bit of this, roundabout motion in my spine and my hips as a conscious sort of diversion from the back and forth that I've been doing with my spine recently with my back bend. Okay, and then I want to do seated forward fold next. So pull the flesh out from under your sitting bones so that you're grounded as much as you can. Reach toward your toes and then lean forward here as you give yourself a little bit of a stretch here for your hamstrings, calves, lower back. Now, in this part of our practice, we get to open up to enjoy whichever inversion, upside down pose seems like it might be most valuable for you. Let me take a little drink. Now, one of my favorites and perhaps easiest upside down pose, inversion, is just a legs up the wall pose, right? In which case what I'll do is I'll find myself sort of lying down on my mat, on my side, close to the wall, and then voila, just do a little roll, put my legs up against the wall, and I'm good to go. Now, if I like this pose, but I'd like to be just a little bit more active, I'll put my elbows to my side, bend my knees, push my feet into the wall, and roll up into a wall-assisted shoulder stand, which I could transition to a half shoulder stand or full shoulder stand. Okay, the one I want to practice today is a wall-assisted handstand. Okay, so if legs at the walls are working for you, or a wall-assisted shoulder stand, or regular shoulder stand is working for you, stick with that. Otherwise, what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of do a down dog where I'm facing the wall more or less, about 2 feet away from the wall. First of all, I'm going to get my Ujjayi breath going so I feel super grounded. Look down to my thumbs as I step one foot slightly forward, and then bring the other leg up into a K kick. One foot goes against the wall, the other one goes up in the air, and I'm pushing into the floor. And it could be that one foot comes away from the wall. Worst case scenario is I just come back down to the floor, right? And and I wouldn't go over because I've got the wall right there, okay? So if you're enjoying a headstand or you're enjoying a shoulder stand, you're enjoying a leg to the wall, do that for a few more breaths. If you want to go one more round with a handstand, if you're following with a wall-assisted handstand, we'll do this one more time. Again, a couple of rounds of Ujjayi breath just to get kind of nice and rooted. Okay, and then when you've had this moment of upside downedness, let's come to a lying on our back pose again as a way of grounding after this wonderful, albeit sometimes volatile, upside down poses. And I'm going to revisit Happy Baby, actually. Now, we've already done either a seated version of our figure 4 stretch and or maybe a fire log pose, Agni Stambhasana. Nonetheless, I still want to move into another hip opener. So I'm going to invite you to cross right ankle over left thigh, reach through between your legs and hold on around your left shin as you pull your left knee in toward your chest. Give yourself a couple rounds of deep breath here. Switch sides, left ankle over right thigh. And then when both sides are balanced, bring your knees together, make slow circles in the air with your knees. Just massage your back into the floor. Now from here, let's do Supta Baddha Konasana, supine bound angle pose. You're going to place the soles of your feet together, let your knees go wide, and rest with your hands under your lower abdomen or inner thighs. If you're more energizing in your practice, keep your arms wide like wings. Close your eyes here and start to breathe down deep into your belly. When you've had 5 or 6 long breaths in this supine bound angle pose, bring your knees together, scoop your hips slightly to the right, and drop your knees both to the left into your twist. Switch and go to the other side. And now we're going to finish whatever we need to do before we move into Shavasana. So Shavasana is our next stop, it's our next pose. And so if there's something your body would like to do before getting a Shavasana, go for it. Otherwise, we're going to get ready for our last pose. So get yourself to be as comfortable as you can. And then when you finally move to your last pose into Shavasana, I invite you to close your eyes, take a full breath into the nostrils, send a sigh out your mouth. Let that signal your whole body to let go, to release. Now, as you're starting to relax, choose one thing to focus on. Either focus on your breath, even though you've let go of your ujjayi breath, everything's totally passive and you're relaxed now. You can focus on your breath, or choose a part of your body that you like to focus on and just keep all of your attention on that one spot. Now, even the most experienced of meditators, their minds are going to wander. And when it does, don't worry about it. Just come back to the moment. Come back to right here and now. Just come back over and over to the breath, to that part of your body. If ever your mind wanders, it's cool. Just bring it back to this moment, back to this breath, back to anchor your attention on that part of your body. This will ultimately keep you more relaxed. You can be in a false state of relaxation where your body's relaxed, but your mind is wandering all over. See if you can relax your mind by keeping it anchored on one thing. Take a moment and put some breath back into your body. Move fingers and toes a little bit. As you do so, roll over to one side, come back upright to a seated position. And to finish our practice today, I want to do a little bit of some breath work, some pranayama. And what I'd like to do is something called samavriti, which means same breath. We're going to breathe in for 5 counts, hold for 5 counts, exhale at 5 counts, hold that for 5 counts. We're going to do that a couple rounds, and then we're going to change it into 6. Sometimes this is called box breath because it's like you have equal amounts of inhale to hold, exhale to hold. It kind of draws this box. And so maybe we'll go from 5 to 6 to 7 and see where we go from there. This is awesome to bring our energy from a high place to this beautiful place of sattva, or the beautiful Goldilocks place, or from a low place to a place of sattva. It's a great way. It's an interrupter if I'm kind of spiraling down a worry well or a chain or something like that. It'll help me bring me back to this moment. So this can be very balancing in a wonderful kind of way. Thumb and first finger together, turn your palms down with your arms straight. Take a long exhale. And then breathe in for 5 counts. 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold your breath. 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale. 2, 3, 4, 5. And hold your breath. 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale. 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold. 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale. 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold. 2, 3, 4, 5. Here goes 6. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Another one for 6. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Here goes 7. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Hold. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Exhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Hold. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Last round, another one for 7. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Hold. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Exhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Hold. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Regular Ujjayi breaths. Finish your practice. Reach your arms wide. Lift your hands up toward the sky. Hands together back to heart. And if you'd like to join me, we'll chant Om once to finish this practice. Inhale. Namaste.